Raw and Uncut. This is episode 55, Double Nickel. I'm Byron Lazine, joined as always by Tim Bray. What's happening?
Getting ready for a big week. You're taking off, going to New Jersey. Seems like you're gone more than you're here.
Well, I'm here in spirit.
Getting educated again?
I'll be in on the conference calls. So,
nice.
I just gotta sleep less, put in more hours.
Yeah, you're accomplishing that goal.
I feel like it this morning. I know you've been up since 1:30.
I have. I'll be good till about 12 today. So
you don't have any showings past 12, do you?
I got a listing appointment coming right up after this.
Nice.
And then I'm gonna do some woodworking.
Woodwork. I got a neighbor. This guy runs barefoot. I don't know if he watches the show. Probably not. He's got so many activities. He runs barefoot in the neighborhood. And the town just cut down some trees in my front yard. You know all those nice mature trees? They cut them all down.
That's great.
Yeah, it's awful. Thanks a lot, East Lyme. Really appreciate that. Anyways, he's out there last night at 9:30 chopping the wood under the street light and loading it up into his
He
truck.
wants to burn it.
And I'm out there watching him on my computer.
Is he using a chainsaw?
No, he was chopping.
Really?
He didn't want to wake people up. So that's some dedication to the wood.
Some people like big wood.
For full disclosure, some people do like big wood.
They do.
And that's what we're going to get into today. Full disclosure. Disclosures. Seller disclosures. So in the state of Connecticut, they look like this. But every state, or I shouldn't say every, but
so it's a full disclosure.
every state has them, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut certainly does.
Absolutely.
Rhode Island does.
We take a pretty good stance on this, I think.
Absolutely.
A hard stance.
We work with a lot of sellers in our day-to-day business, and we're always advising sellers to do what?
Well, on the disclosures, since day one, what we've been doing is we go in and we give them 2 points of view. We say, look, this is your, first of all, you have to disclose.
You have to fill it out, unless you're what?
Unless it's an estate.
An estate, then you don't have to fill it out.
And then even sometimes I like to have my people, if they're like the sons, the daughter, or somebody that knows something about the property.
If they're knowledgeable.
If they're knowledgeable, fill it out anyway.
Yep.
Even though you don't need to.
So it puts the buyers at ease.
You just nailed it. I think that's it. So if you are completely honest on these disclosures and you don't just go through and check no or unknown to if there are any issues.
It's like 4 pages, 5 pages here actually. Now the new ones are 5 pages. How often do you just see no's all the way down?
All the time.
All the time.
And so what happens, and this is a little reverse mentality, is when you and I go in as a buyer's agent and we see the no's and unknowns, we love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're telling our buyers, you know, if we're in there and there's another agent that's present, do not let the other agent know that, you know, you see mold or that you see cracked glass or that, you know, you're aware that there could have been water in the basement.
Right.
Because if it's not disclosed and then the inspector brings that up, then you have the right within 5 days to ask for anything structural, mechanical, or safety.
You have the opportunity to renegotiate that deal that you're under contract, and that's your one shot at getting some money back.
Now, what do you do with your sellers? One of the first things, what are you asking them to do?
I ask them to over-disclose.
Oh, right? What do you mean?
Anything, you know, say there was water in April of 2010 or whatever that year, or whatever, 2010, 2011, whatever year that was, 2010, April 2010. If you had water in your basement like everybody else in this particular area in Connecticut did, then disclose that. That may be the one time you ever had water in your basement, but talk about it here. That's your opportunity to show that you're very honest. We believe in transparency to the consumer, to the buyer, which is why we've done our property packets. Check that out on propertypacket.com, which is, you know, why we tell our sellers to over disclose. Make the buyers feel comfortable. They're making a big purchase. They need to feel comfortable.
So what do you mean? So if your buyer is looking at maybe 3 properties and they're interested in 2 of those, and it comes down to whether or not they believe that the seller in one of them is being extremely honest and over disclosing, they feel more comfortable oftentimes going with that property because they're like, well, this one says no to everything. Yeah. Come on, this house is 100 years old. These people have lived here for 30 years. They had to have had an issue somewhere.
Trusting a buyer, trusting a seller can be very difficult, which is why FSBOs or bozos, as I like to call them, will take 16% less than being on the active market.
And those are the numbers.
Because people just don't trust the seller when they're dealing with them direct. That is a number from National Association of Realtors. You can look that up and check me if you want.
The one thing, a couple things on here. Well, one big thing is, even if there was an issue, let's say you had a flashing issue a few years back, and you remediated it. So you fixed the flashing, there were driving rains, and maybe there was some moisture on the ceiling, and you took care of it, and you can't tell at all.
Sure.
I asked the sellers if it says roof problems. Yes, 3 years ago we had a flashing problem.
Sure.
We remediated it
by a licensed contractor.
And now your buyers, when they look at this, are saying, holy smokes, they didn't need to disclose this, but
Absolutely.
they did. I have an honest seller here.
That's right.
I'm comfortable with this home.
That's right. And there's so many good agents out there that are getting, asking their sellers to fill these out correctly, but it ultimately is up to the seller to be honest. There's all kinds of questions. Plumbing system problems, hot water problems, electrical system problems, AC problems. You usually see no, right? Down until you get to the one question, and in Connecticut it's number 28, is the house insulated? Then all of a sudden you see a yes. Oh, what's the yes? Oh, it's the house is insulated. Great, wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, balloon construction, 1932, never been re-sided. Yeah.
It's insulated, trust me.
It's insulated. So the other thing with the disclosures that's huge is agents are never supposed to sign these. No writing from an agent on this disclosure.
In Connecticut you're not allowed to put pen to paper.
Not even the address of the property. So what I like to do on these, because there is no place for an initial, I like to have my sellers initial each individual page, and they fill it out completely, start to finish.
Yeah, smart move. What is that? CYA? Cover CYB? Cover your butt?
I don't know what you mean.
All right, thank you guys so much. I hope that was helpful. If you're thinking about selling, you want to over disclose, not under disclose. Don't try to hide things under the carpet. You're going to get caught if you do that. Check us out. We're now doing the show every Tuesday and every Friday, 2 times a week. Definitely connect with me on social media. Instagram at Byron Lazine. If you're watching the show on Facebook, share it up. Comments. If you're watching it on YouTube, show us some love. Throw us a comment.
I just want you to call me.
Give this guy a call.
860-912-7137.
Call me, baby.
Light that phone up.
Call me, maybe.
Did you ever take singing lessons?
No. Should I for the show?
I was just going to say, if you had, I know a good attorney that can get your money back.
Bonnie can give me singing lessons. Actually, Lauren's a good singer.
Is she?
Yeah. Maybe we'll get her on the show to sing at some point. Thank you guys. Appreciate all the views. Take care. Have a killer week.